Today I'm going to show you how to make quinoa and oats porridge or pudding. Um, this can be eaten as a breakfast or just when you want something nice and either hot and creamy or cold and creamy. This can be eaten either way. It's delicious, it's really healthy. I think it even mimics the taste of rice pudding or kheer because it has those flavors. This version that I'm making today um, has cardamom and saffron in it. So it definitely gives that very luxurious taste of kheer without all the calories and all the fat. I'm also making this vegan today with almond milk, but again, you can make it with any milk you want. Um, this is a base recipe. The toppings are endless, the mixing are endless, and the spices are endless. You can add cinnamon, you can add apple pie spice, you can add any spice blend that you have and that you like. You can make the base without the saffron and cardamom, and then just every day you can just add any spice you want and eat the variety that this provides. So please give this a try. It's very quick, it's very easy, and it's delicious. So to make our quinoa and oatmeal porridge, I need 1/4 cup of oatmeal. This is steel cut oats. You can also use rolled oats. I have 3/4 cup of quinoa. I have about 5 to 6 cardamom pops, and I have a few strands of saffron. I also need 1 cup of water, half a cup of milk. I'm going to use almond milk, but you can also use regular milk. We're going to cook that until it's almost done, add some additional almond milk, and then finish it all together. So let's see how we make this porridge that tastes just like kheer, but so much healthier. And you can eat it for breakfast or as a snack anytime. So here in this pot, I have 1 cup of water and half a cup of almond milk. But like I said, you can substitute any milk for this. And now I'm going to add my quinoa and oat mixture. Okay, as you can see, I've added everything. I've also opened up those cardamom pods so they can infuse in the water milk mixture. So I'm going to let this come to a boil and then simmer for about 15 minutes until most of the liquid is absorbed. Okay, as you can see that most of the liquid has been absorbed, and you can tell whether quinoa is cooked or not. That center white dot in a quinoa grain, that should be translucent. So it's still white, so you know the quinoa is not cooked all the way yet. So at this point, I'm going to add an additional 1 cup of almond milk. And like I said, you can use any milk you want. If you're trying to keep this vegan, then use any of the nut milk or oat milk or soy milk. Otherwise, you can also use regular milk. Also notice I have not added any sweetener at this point. I'm going to not add the sweetener and keep it optional to add on top of it once this is done. So for sweetener, you can use maybe a tablespoon of maple syrup, date syrup. You can even put just a tablespoon of sugar or sugar to taste. So I'm not going to add any sweetener right now. I'm going to go ahead and wait because I like it with maple syrup. So I'm just going to drizzle maple syrup on top. But again, you can use any sweetener you want. You can use maple syrup, date syrup, or just plain sugar. I'm gonna go ahead and simmer this until, again, most of the liquid is absorbed and the quinoa is cooked well. Again, I see those white dots in the quinoa grain. So once that becomes translucent, I know that the quinoa has cooked. And also the beautiful hue of the milk is from the saffron threads that we added. Again, if you don't have saffron, that's fine. It just adds it a really nice taste. Even without the saffron, it will still be tasty. But if we're trying to mimic the taste of the rice pudding or kheer, then, you know, the saffron is a nice touch. Also, on top, you can add any kind of toppings. You can add crushed almonds, crushed pistachios, any kind of nut you want, or just leave it nut-free if you don't like nuts. Now, many rice puddings or kheer also have raisin in it. Instead of raisins, I'm going to add dark cherries. So these are dried dark cherries. They're not sweetened, but these are delicious and they taste really well in this porridge. So I'm going to go ahead and add it now. So then the liquid will be absorbed by them and they'll become nice and plump. Okay, so I've added the cherries. I can see that the liquid is almost absorbed. Quinoa is almost done. I'm going to cook for maybe 5 more minutes. So total cook time was about 15 minutes. And again, this was 1/4 cup of steel cut oats, 3/4 cup of quinoa, 1 cup of water, and a total of 1.5 cups of almond milk. Again, no sweetener. And then there was cardamom pods. I put about 5 or 6 of them, and then a few threads of saffron. Okay, so the liquid is almost gone, but not fully. But at this point, I don't need to keep cooking it, so it will cook on its own. So I'm going to turn the gas off and then let it sit and let the quinoa and the oats absorb all that liquid. So we're gonna let it sit now for about 15 minutes. So this is just passive cooking. So it's almost done. So by the end of 15 minutes, all that liquid will be absorbed. Okay, it's been about 15 minutes, and as you can see, all the liquid has been absorbed and the quinoa has cooked beautifully. The steel cut oats have been cooked really well. The cherries have nice and plump themselves. So at this point, it is ready to eat. Now, there's no sweetener in it right now. I'm going to just drizzle a little bit of maple syrup when I'm ready to eat. This can be eaten hot or cold. So you can eat it hot, or you can keep it in the refrigerator, make it like, let it just sit overnight and have it for breakfast. So this is a great recipe that can be eaten many ways. You can customize it many ways. You can add some chopped nuts on top or not. You can add a fruit. You can add bananas, you can add peaches, mangoes, anything you want. But otherwise, this is a really good base recipe. It tastes like rice pudding or kheer without the rice and all the calories. So please give this recipe a try. I have about 2 tablespoons of chopped nuts. It's a combination of pistachios and walnuts that I'm going to sprinkle on top of my quinoa pudding. And here it is. It's done very quick. Prep time was 5 minutes. Cook time was about 20 minutes. And a very healthy breakfast or snack anytime. So again, my quinoa oats pudding.